Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half acre homestead, and today I'm going to make Cornish pasties. Now, Cornish pasties are basically a meat pie. Are basically a meat pie without the pie plate, and they're individual size. This is my jar of lard here. And now most people will recommend that you do a butter pastry with Cornish pasties, but you know what? I prefer a cross between butter and lard. So I'm going to make my standard pastry that you folks all know I make. Now they're called Cornish pasties, folks. So if I slip and call them Cornish pasties, well, I do apologize. Because they're not pasties, they're pasties. Because I heard a British person describing them, and she said pastry. You're going to make pastry for your Cornish pasties, so they can't be called Cornish pasties. And besides, pasties are something strippers wear on their nipples. And I mean, do you really want to put meat in one of those and eat it? No, of course not. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make my pastry, which you know is just a combination of lard, butter, flour, and a bit of ice water with a little bit of lemon juice in it. Alright, so when we have this all together, when I have this all grated, we'll be back. Alright, so we have our butter and our lard worked into our flour. And now we're just going to take some ice water. We don't want too much. It's actually ice water with a bit of lemon in it. It's almost lemonade without the sugar. And we're going to get our pastry all mixed up. Now, Cornish pasties are from Cornwall, England. They were a popular lunch among the tin miners because they are a folded pastry all on their own. There's no plate or anything, and once cold, they wrap up really easy in lunch. So, and they could take them down the mine shafts in their pockets. They could drop them to each other down the mine shafts. I'm sure it doesn't sound nice for the pastry, but it made them really handy. And it's a meal because what you're going to need is you're going to need some cubed beef, about 1/2 inch cubes, some cubed potatoes, about 1/2 inch cubes, some cubed turnip, about 1/2 inch cubes, and some diced onion, slightly smaller. And you're going to need a little bit of heavy cream. Alrighty, so when I have that stuff all peeled and cubed and ready and this pastry done, we'll be back. Here we have a small roast. I didn't know we had many left in the freezer. Now, if you notice it seems a little stiff, it's because I partially thaw them, but I like them slightly frozen because, as you can see, it makes them much easier to cut. I'm going to go get a different knife. This is my vegetable knife. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to dice the meat up into cubes of about 1/2 inch. This meat could have been a little bit more frozen. I didn't realize we had much left of our beef, but I guess we had a couple of small roasts left. Now when I have this all diced up into 1/2 inch cubes, I'll be back. Alright, here's our cubed beef. Now, I cut them all up in little pieces about yay big, and I actually saved some of that roast because for stir fry for another day, because this is plenty of meat for the 5 Cornish pasties I'm going to make. Now I'm just going to set this to marinate while I chop the vegetables in a little bit of soy sauce, some fresh ground black pepper, and some home. Don't let the container fool you. This is my garlic powder. This is my garlic powder that I sliced and dehydrated myself. I'm just going to take the pastry spoon and give this a toss. And we're going to go put this in the fridge, and then we're going to dice our vegetables. Alright, we will be right back. Now we're just going to dice up our potatoes into little 1/2 inch cubes. And the trick is to get them all roughly the same size, like same size as the meat, because then they cook evenly in the oven. And we are going to be putting these in the oven. Now, the traditional recipe, I of course have tweaked. You know me, folks. But the traditional recipe is basically butter pastry, meat, cubed beef, butter pastry, onions, turnips, potatoes, salt and pepper. But I like to season mine a little bit better. I find a lot of British recipes are very bland. You know, they're just basically meat and potato recipes, which is fine. But, you know, I'm not a huge spicy person, but I do like a little bit of flavor. Now, you may want to cut your turnip slightly smaller than the potato, because turnip takes longer to cook. And you can omit the turnip if you want. You can have just potatoes and onions and meat and still have a wonderful Cornish pasty and just serve some vegetables on the side. All right, we'll be back in a bit. All right, now we're dicing up, slightly smaller, one medium-sized onion. We're just about ready to start rolling out our pastry for our Cornish pasties. And even I have a hard time calling them pasties because I want to call them pasties. Okay, now we have our turnip and our onion and our potatoes. We have our 5 balls of pastry. Now I'm going to tidy this up and get my rolling pin and everything organized and the meat out of the fridge, and we will make some Cornish pasties. Okay, folks. Now, here's our diced seasoned meat and our diced potatoes, turnips, and onions, and our 5 balls of pastry. Now, we're going to roll them out individually. And I'm going to show you how we make a Cornish pasty. You just want to roll out almost a pie-sized piece, almost round enough for a pie plate. You're going to need a sandwich plate too, to measure and roll out and measure your pastry pocket. All right. Okay, I will be back with a bit of egg wash. Alrighty, now we have our pastry rolled out, and we just put the plate down and we cut around it because you want it round. You want it round. Okay, we have our cutout round. Now that I know what I'm doing. And we're going to spoon some of our seasoned marinated meat on there. Just like that. Oh, it smells so good and it's not even cooked yet. Alrighty, and then we're just going to push this down a little bit in the center to make a little plateau for our potatoes and our turnips and our onions. I don't know about you, but you can make this stretch. You can make your meat stretch by using more vegetables, but I like to make my vegetables stretch with more meat because I'm a wolfie and I love my meat. Okay, I think I need a little bit more onion from the bowl there. I should have probably separated these all up, but that's okay. We can just pick out the bits of onion. There we go. Now we're going to take some egg wash, which you all know is beaten egg with water, about equal amounts of egg and water. And we're going to brush it all around the edge because we want a really nice seal. Because this basically is a meat pie, but without the plate. So we're just going to pull this up like this, and we're going to start pinching. Now don't pinch at the center. We want to leave a vent. So we're just going to leave a little vent like that so that we can pour some cream in about 20 minutes before they're ready. All right, when I have all these ready to go in the oven, I will be back. All right, now we're just going to, these are our 5, no, we have 6 because I had a little bit of pastry left over. We have, now they're not pretty, folks. They really aren't, but they do the job. Okay, we're going to brush our egg wash all over.
You want me to take that?
Yes, please. We're going to brush our egg wash all over the pasties, because this, of course, will give them a nice golden crust. A nice shiny golden crust. And then we're going to put these in the oven at 325 degrees for an hour and a half. And what's going to happen after an hour is we're going to take these out, and in this little hole we're going to pour some heavy cream. Actually, I'm using whipping cream. Shh. We're going to pour some heavy cream, and that will bubble up and mix with the juices and all the meat juices and the vegetable juices, and we'll make a lovely gravy. There we go. These are going in the oven, and we'll see you when these come out to have the cream put in, and then when I dish up dinner. Alrighty, folks, they've been in the oven for almost an hour, and as you can see, they're getting nice and golden. Now we're just going to take some heavy cream or whipping cream, and we're just going to put about 2 tablespoons down the vent of each pasty.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're going to put these back in the oven for 20 minutes, and we'll see you folks at the dinner table. Wow. There it is, folks. There's those beets that I canned, and they turned out really nice. And I've already cut into my Cornish pasty and my green beans. So we're just waiting for Papa to come to the table so he can give it the official taste test and hopefully a thumbs up. Alright, we'll be back in a second. Here goes Daddy. Watch it, honey, it's really hot. Hot, 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 eh? There you go, folks. Cornish pasties. Enjoy. These are something you can, if I have any of these left over cold, you just put them in the fridge and you can just pop those in a microwave at work the next day. Because they're basically just a pie, but they're all, you know, they're portable. Portable pie. Anyway, this is the Miss Wolf from our Half Acre Homestead saying, talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.